you're watching for the very first time, my name is Staecha. Today I have a special guest. This is Christopher. If you watch one of my vlogs, my earlier vlogs, he was featured in there, but the audio quality wasn't the best. So I decided to drag him back on to the channel again for a more what I face them in.
Like whatever we live.
We drag him on. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing some of the things that you should expect if you're either moving to Japan or moving as an ALT or AET in Japan. So we're going to be discussing. I have been an ALT for maybe 8 months, and you have been an ALT for
4 years.
4 years. So that's practically the reason why he's here, because I think he has a little more knowledge when it comes down to certain things in regards to life as an ALT in Japan. Alright, so we're going to start off with the first thing. Workload, work hours, and just overall Japanese work culture.
Workload, work hours. Everything that I'm going to say depends on where you go as an ALT and the company that you're with.
And the level that you're at. Because even for us, even though we're all ALTs, elementary teachers have different expectations from junior high school, and it also depends on the BOE that you're in, to the Board of Education, the region that you're in.
Absolutely.
Because I have friends in Tokyo, and the expectations that their BOE has of them, we don't necessarily have in Yokohama. So you have to be wary of that. So everything that we're saying, take it with a grain of salt. These are just our experiences. So don't come expecting it to be the exact same thing. And even though we're in the same Board of Education region, I should say, we don't have the same workload per se, because also that's also dependent on the kind of Japanese teachers who you're working with. But we're going to get into that. I'll go with. Yeah, so what were you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, so depending on the company you work with, depending on the level that you're teaching, meaning elementary, junior high, high school, I should say. You could be working, for example, for the Board of Education directly. You could be working with the JET program, or you could be working with a dispatch company like Interac or Nova, one of those places. And the requirement is a little bit different. So if you are working with a dispatch company, your workload, you go to school from morning until the end of school, and you're given your assignments usually by your teacher, and so you prepare lessons and you go to classes and teach. Whereas with the Board of Education, you would go to school in the morning, say 8 o'clock, and school would have ended for students at say 3, and you'd still be there until 5, because you're full-time, like real full-time. With dispatch companies, they usually have a system where your work hours go up to 29.5, and
so technically you're considered a part-time teacher.
I don't like,
because I think if technically you're considered a part-time teacher, your contractual hours say that you're working 29.5 hours, and the 0.5 is very strategic, because if it's 30 and above, then you're considered a full-time teacher, and that
gives responsibility to the company for other things like pension and insurance. So that's the difference in dispatch companies and like BOE or the government programs. So you can, based on that, you know what the hours would be like. So it can be really like a 9 to 5, or like you said, 29.5 hours for the month, right?
Yeah,
for the week.
For the week. But one of the things I also wanted people to know also is the fact that during the week, for me specifically, I teach 18 classes. So you teach one class once per week, at the junior high level at least. So each class, depending on how many classes that school has, my school has 6 first year, 6 second year and 5 third year students, plus special need class. So I have all of those classes once per week. So sometimes you'll go to school, you might have 3 classes, 2 classes, sometimes no class, but you have to turn up to work still, otherwise your pay is docked. So yeah, it's dependent on
the school
that you have. Some schools are bigger than others. When I started out, there were only 6 first year and then 5 second and third year, but this year it's 6, 6, 5 plus special needs students. So bear that in mind. If you are a teacher or were a teacher in Jamaica, for example, the workload, it doesn't exist basically, because when you think about all the preparation that goes into being a teacher in Jamaica and you compare that to being an ALT in Japan, it's night and day.
Meaning it ought to be easier or less.
It's a lot less.
Right. Unless you're, like I said, working for a government school where you work full night, like 8 hours a day. But I think the main thing that you're mentioning is that at your specific school, the workload might be different. You might actually be assigned more than one school.
Yeah.
And you might go to a school where teachers require you to teach a full lesson by yourself.
Yep.
You might go to a school where teachers require you just to read something, so that students can hear it coming from a native speaker. You might be asked to prepare activities or games. You might be asked to create a whole curriculum in the case of special needs. And the good thing is, in those cases, you will have resources and you have the company that will assist you with that.
Yeah. But every situation is different, and I want to emphasize that a lot, because even at my school, different classes or different grades are run by different teachers at last term at least. So each teacher will require different things. The first year teacher, she wanted me to just plan the entire lesson, and I had to plan them, come up with activities and things like that. And then for second year, it was a collaborative effort between myself and other teachers. I would plan, but she would be more involved in, okay, what activities are we going to do? And she would offer suggestions if she thought that an activity wouldn't work or an activity needed mending. And then for the third year, I was basically just there to read when she wanted me to read, speak when she wanted me to speak. So I didn't do any planning for third year. I just turned up and just sat basically. And she said, Staecha Sensei, would you look at this? Is this correct? Or stuff like that. So she basically didn't need me except to use as a reference point, just to make sure that what she was teaching was correct. So
a little like insight into that, at least what I perceive it as. In the third year, they're basically preparing them for exams, and some teachers tend not to focus on the communication aspect of learning the language and mostly on the test. And so they might not necessarily need you to prepare activities for them to actually use the language, but for them to actually prepare for the test.
Yeah, but that teacher is now the teacher who's going to be teaching first, second, and third year with me. And she's like, so don't worry about it. I'll plan all the lessons and you just yeah.
Yeah, there are those opportunities too for people who like to relax and enjoy life.
But I don't plan on relaxing too much, because I actually want students to be able to at least communicate basic English.
This is actually something that's encouraged. But before I go to that, let me just say the main thing, again, I think you said it earlier, but don't expect it to be exactly like we're saying it is. But be flexible. That's like very key. Be flexible. Flexible. Yeah. But what I was gonna say is, I forgot what I was gonna say.
What were you going to say?
What are we talking about?
2 hours later.
The next thing is, your workload sometimes might be very easy, sometimes might be very hectic, but Japanese people are always working, so when it comes to like work culture, they expect you to always be working.
Yeah.
So if you come to school one day and they say, oh, you don't have any lessons today, Well, you gotta find something to do.
Activism.
Yeah, you have to find something to do. Maybe you can offer to help someone. They're probably gonna say no, they're good because they want to do the work. You can prepare things around the class or around the school.
Mark papers.
Offer to mark papers if that's available. You can go to the library, work with the librarian. They're always really receptive. That's a major key right there. So stuff like that. So that's a part of Japanese work culture. They're always working.
Yeah, they work very long hours because I will leave my Japanese coworkers at work, and in the morning I go there and I see them. So they're going to be there when you're leaving, and you're going to go to work and see them there.
Right.
So the work culture in Japan, not just for teachers, but in general, it's a very hard work. They're a very hard-working set of people in terms of the hours that they put in. So if you see people sleeping on the train, that's very common. Standing and sleeping is very common too on the train. So it's because of their culture, and the students are like that too. They are very involved. So they have extra classes with juku, cram school, and then they have club activities and stuff like that. So they're really tired, and even students you will see sleeping in the classroom, but we'll get to that too when we get to classroom size and stuff like that. Yeah.
Besides that Japanese work culture, some of it is quite pleasant. They're always like really, I wouldn't say really genki in the morning, but
Genki means energetic, by the way. If I do so right now.
You walk into the staff room, for example, and you're expected to like shout a big "Ohayo gozaimasu," and they all say "Ohayo gozaimasu."
I'm actually like. I'm going deliberately when I'm leaving. Oskare sama desu.
Oskare sama desu. You come in from the weekend or holiday and you see gifts on your desk.
Oh God. Sweetie will kill me.
Yeah, be mindful of that because you might end up eating a lot of sweets.
Yes.
Work culture, they're very organized. Too organized. They organize to organize. They prepare to prepare.
Yeah.
For the preparation for the ceremony.
Yeah.
Right.
Very meticulous.
Yeah. And they also have fun together. Actually, so they'll have end of year parties. They'll have going away parties.
Yeah.
They'll have welcome parties. And this, when I say party, I mean like a party. Here it's called a drinking party or nomikai. I think there's another name for it. I'm not good at Japanese. We'll get to that. Where you go to an izakaya or a bar and you eat and drink.
Yeah.
And
get late.
Yeah, but not too late.
Not too late.
Because you don't want, these are your work colleagues and you don't want them to have that image of you. In general society, you're not supposed to get wasted like that because you're supposed to be a respectable sensei. And so you'd be letting a lot of people down if you overindulge. And I'm reciting that like from an email that we get quite often. Right? You're encouraged to go. You're not obligated to go.
Yeah.
They can be quite expensive. So for example, you and your friends decide to go somewhere, it probably will be cheaper than going to their nomikai because they don't think about, seems like they don't think about this is expensive. But they'll be like, would you like to come to the end of your party? And you're like, how much is it? 10,000 yen, like Ichiman yen. Let me check my schedule. Right? And then you come back and you say whether you're going or not going.
Have you ever been?
Yeah, of course. You're not obligated to go, but you're expected to go to build rapport and build like camaraderie in the workplace. So I would say at least once.
Yeah. I haven't been because of when I started working in the school here.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I haven't gone. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is students and classroom environment. So in terms of class size, if you're wondering about that, it's roughly around 37-40 students depending, but there are instances where you go to some junior high school and there are 12 students or 1 student. So it's dependent again on where you are, but where we're at, it's around 35 up to about 40 students.
Right. Mind you, we're in Yokohama and we're in a very populous city.
Yeah.
So the very popular cities like Yokohama, Tokyo, Sapporo, those cities, I'm not gonna recite all of them right now. Those areas are gonna have larger classes, but you never know, you might go to a school in God knows where, right? And you're the only foreigner there, and there's probably like 15 households, and 13 of them have kids, and they're the kids that you teach.
Yeah.
So you might just have a school of 40 people.
Exactly. So it is dependent on where you're at. But like I said, we're in the city region and Yokohama is next to Tokyo. So the class sizes are pretty big. So yeah, classroom environment. I earlier mentioned that sometimes you'll see students sleeping. In the western end of the world, for me at least, you see a student sleeping, you wake the student up. If you see a Japanese student sleeping, leave the child alone. Leave the child alone. Remember, you are an ALT, so you're not the primary teacher. You're only there to assist the JTE, the Japanese teacher. So leave the child alone if the child is sleeping. Second of all, they encourage students to sleep because sometimes Japanese teachers know what the child is going through, and so they allow them to sleep. But I've seen my Japanese teacher wake students up, so you don't be the one to wake that child up. If the child is sleeping, put the work on the desk and keep it moving. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Don't touch kids.
Do not touch them. I mean, if they initiate a fist bump, I'll give them a fist bump. But outside that, I don't initiate physical contact.
Like, it might sound strange, but Japanese culture is not very physical. Yeah.
No.
So they bow and they nod and yeah.
Maybe wave, maybe.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one part of classroom. In terms of like teaching kids, they're also very shy and reserved. They don't want to make any mistakes. So a part of your job would be to encourage them to make mistakes and encourage them, let them know that like making mistakes is fine. You can make mistakes and play it off and say, this is fine, it's cool. So that they can then begin to interact, because they generally don't interact a lot. And so finding ways to get them involved, get them responding to you, get them talking to each other is one of the main challenges for you. Yeah,
and one of the things I realized, it takes them a while to get used to you, because I started working in the middle of the school year in September, in the middle of the Japanese school year. In Japan, school begins in April. So when I started in September, it was basically the middle of the year, closing down to the end. So it took them a while to get used to me. At first, everybody was like, and they were staring and they didn't want to talk to me. And that kind of I felt some type of way, because I'm like, guys, I'm cool, talk to me.
I remember that.
So yeah, they didn't want to talk to me, but then towards the end of it, they'll see me, they're like, Staecha Sensei, and learn their names. That also helps.
Of course.
The more you learn their name, the more personal it feels, and they feel like, you're making an effort. So they'll also make an effort to talk to you. And if they see that you're friendly and you're kind, they'll make the effort to talk, because towards the end, I had some first year girls. As soon as they saw me, they were running down the hallway to greet me. They wanted to talk to me. They wanted to know more about me. And one of the students' mother likes reggae. So apparently she told her mother that I'm from Jamaica. And her mother likes, what's her name? Diana? King, yeah, Diana King. And she came to me and she asked me if I know Diana. Well, I know her, but I don't necessarily know the music. But yeah, find things to engage with them. Like he said, find a way to create an environment where they feel safe to make the mistakes. Because I've experienced it for myself. I was in a third year class and we were having free talk, which is where they're able to come to you and to talk to you about almost anything. So one came to me and I was telling them that in high school I was in the debating team, and he was saying he wanted to ask me what topics would I debate about, but the English, the way it came out, wasn't comprehensible. I couldn't understand what he was saying. So I told him in Japanese. I said, "Wakarimasen, I don't understand." And I saw the look on his face, because everyone around him started snickering. And I just said, no, it's fine to make mistakes. Just think about what you want to say and try again. So you have to, even in those instances when they make the mistake, try to encourage them that it's fine, And I go as far as saying that, I'm studying Japanese and I make a lot of mistakes, but I still try. So if you're studying English and you make mistakes, it's okay to try. So yeah.
You'd be trained and sensitized in praising the students a lot, and encouraging them. So even when they make mistakes, you say thanks for volunteering, or thanks for actually speaking. Good job.
And when they actually make the effort, praise them, because trust me, I've been in class, and even when you're trying to be funny and you're trying to be energetic, and you ask a question and the entire class is like, and then you're like, okay, moving on.
Yeah. Anything else about classroom? So you're in our job. We're never alone with the students. You will always work with a Japanese teacher of English, a JTE, and you assist them. But also they assist you when you're the one doing the lesson. Yeah. So there is different, I think there's tier 1, tier 2, something like that.
Teacher 1, teacher 2.
Yeah. So, and so you can involve them in your lessons. It's good for dialogue and skits and stuff like that. I don't write well on the board, so I usually ask my teacher to write on the board for me. Stuff like that. So it's good to have a good relationship with the teacher.
That helps a lot.
You are supposed to, or you're told to coordinate with the teachers in order to plan lessons and be able to execute it properly. But a common thing is that teachers are always very busy. They have several other responsibilities, and like we said earlier, they're always working.
Yeah.
So you can try to arrange a time to meet with them that is consistent, or you just have to wing it and work. Like they'll pick up, they understand the English, and they should be able to speak English as well. But that would be a good thing too.
I normally just get the teachers just tell me what next to plan for, and then this year they rearranged my staff room, so I sit with all the English teachers now, so it's not that hard. And the teacher with whom I'm teaching with all the first, second, and third year students, she sits directly beside me, so I've never had that issue in terms of finding time for them. I just usually go up to the teacher and say, what's the next topic? And she said, please give me a minute, and she'll come back like 5 minutes later and say, Staecha Sensei, this is the next topic, please plan a lesson. And then I go about doing that. Sometimes I'll consult her if the activities are okay, but there isn't always enough time because, like he said, they're always busy. They have other responsibilities and stuff like that. So bear that in mind.
Yeah, so find ways to communicate if you need to. Sometimes like notes will work. Leave notes on their desk. They leave notes on your desk. Yeah, you're not actually supposed to. Well, at least for our company, you're not supposed to be in direct contact with them outside of school, nor more are you supposed to with students that should go with the
Especially
same.
students.
Right. So for me, I'm happy to leave work and leave work at work. Yeah, I'm good with that. So we'll do whatever we need to do when we're on the clock. But yeah, it works. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, you will. Okay guys, if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video offered some more insights about life in Japan and being an ALT specifically. I've gotten a ton of questions about life in Japan via Instagram, so I hope that this video covered a vast majority of what you guys wanted to know about Japan. If you're interested in other videos that you want to see on this channel, go ahead and write them in the comment bar below, and you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram or send me a direct message on Instagram, and I will I'm going to put it probably here or here, and I will go ahead and respond to that or make the video for you. Thanks Chris for coming on my channel. What? So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. I need speech therapy, Chris, because every time I come on here, guys, bye bye.